I'm going to start recording. Just give me a second. My connection today is not so good. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. That's it. All right. So as I was talking to you, today we are going to talk about phonetics. But before passing to the field of phonetics, we are going to start with something important. Remember that the name of this program, this specialization program, is linguistics. Do you know what is linguistics? What linguistic is? Do you have any idea? Do you have any idea what linguistics is? No, nobody? What is linguistics? Please tell me. If you cannot speak, maybe you can answer by the chat. I'm gonna check the chat so you can write it. Nobody? What is linguistics? Tell me, please. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Linguistics. What you know, I don't want you to look up the information or search information in the internet. What you know? What's the first idea when you hear the word linguistics? Aha, that's right, Zoraida. Zoraida says the study about language. Yes, you're right. Aha, in simple words, linguistics is the study of the language. So remember that. This is in a simple word, the study of the language. But here, when we talk about linguistics, remember that we are going to add something more. It's a scientific, remember, it's the scientific study of a language. And what does it involve? It involves the analysis of the form, the meaning, and the language in context. So, and there are more aspects. Here I'm giving you the major aspects related to linguistics, no? Because we have more, not just the meaning, the form of the language in context. We have more, no? Nowadays, we talk about linguistics in many fields, no? We have a lot of fields or branches of linguistics, no? We call about sociolinguistics, psycholinguistics, computational linguistics. So we have a lot of branches of linguistics, but a major aspect related to the language, this is that we are going to talk about today, is related to the language form, the language meaning, and the language in context. So I'm going to show you here a picture related to linguistics. Notice here, oh, be careful please with the microphones. Don't forget to turn off your microphones. Please, everybody, your microphones.
Good afternoon.
Ruth, good afternoon, Nay.
Good afternoon, teacher. Hello.
Okay, hello.
Teacher, please.
Oh, don't worry. Please try to turn
It's
off
my
your
first time.
Oh, yeah, don't worry about it. We're just started, so don't worry about it, all right? So don't forget, please, to turn off your microphones, all right? So here, as I was talking to you, linguistics, as Zoraida says, in simple words, is the study of the language. We are going to analyze the language in a scientific way. And what are we going to analyze about the language? Is the form, the meaning, and the language in context. So in the diagram, for example, you have the branches of linguistics or the fields of linguistics. The basic field of linguistics is phonetics. If you could see here, all right, you can notice here, you have phonetics. What is phonetics? Notice this is in the green circle, right? Phonetics is related to the speech sounds. Notice phonetics is related to the speech sound. Speech. What is the meaning of a speech? Speech.
Speech is el lenguaje, conversar, el hablar. Speech,
Yes,
el hablar.
that's
The pronunciation.
right. Yeah, related to the pronunciation. Yeah, but remember, speech, a synonym of a speech is talk, speak.
Talk.
Remember,
Yeah.
speech is when you talk, when you speak. So when we talk, when we speak, we produce sounds. That's why we say speech sounds, because we can produce sounds in many different ways. No, for example, if I have my hand, my fist, notice, and I have a table, I produce a sound. Yes, could you hear it? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm knocking. No, I'm knocking. I'm producing a sound, but this sound is not a sound of a speech, right? So the
Yes.
sounds of a speech are related to the sounds that we produce when we talk, when we speak. So this is the field of phonetics. Let's continue with the other one, phonology. This is the second module, for example. After phonetics, we're going to talk about phonology. Phonology, what is phonology? Here you have in the blue circle. Phonology is related to the phonemes. Have you heard this word before? Phonemes. What is a phoneme?
Phonics.
What you know? You don't know, teacher? No,
Fonemas.
yeah, in
Fonemas.
Spanish,
Fonemas.
yes. In Spanish
Fonemas.
is phonemas, yes. And
Ujú.
what is a phoneme? What is a phonema in Spanish? What is a phonema or what is a phoneme?
Por ejemplo, sonido.
Sounds, right? Yes, you're right.
Sonido. Ujú.
Sounds. But what is the difference with the other ones, with the speech sounds? Here, then we are going to analyze it. Remember, we are going to have some terms, some definitions related to sounds. When we talk about sounds, we have a lot of concepts related to sounds. And then we are going to talk about it. This is just as a general overview of linguistics. So if you notice, phonetics and phonology both are related to sounds, the study of the sounds of a language. All right, let's pass to the other. Phonology, then you have morphology. So this is the
Morphology.
morphology is related, this is the violet, the purple circle, is related
Yes.
to words. Words, the form of words, how we are going
Yes.
to make up words, all right? How we are going to create words, the composition of words. This is morphology. Then you have syntax. With these words, what do you do with words? You create phrases and sentences. So
Sentence.
syntax is the study of how we create phrases and how we make up sentences. Notice we are starting with the small unit, no? That is phones, phonemes, morphemes. Then you have the syntax. So you have this lexemes. You join this and you make phrases and sentences. Then you have semantics. Semantic is related to the meaning, the literal meaning of phrases and sentences. This is semantics. Then we pass to pragmatics, related to the praxis. So you use the language in different contexts. So the meaning in context of discourse. And finally, you have the discourse, that is when you create a test. So here you have the major branches of linguistics. So in this program, in this specialization program, we're going to be focused more on the four first: phonetics, phonology, morphology, and syntax. All right.
Syntax.
So today we are going to focus on phonetics. So as I told you before, this is a general overview. It's very important to remember what is linguistics, what linguistics is, and the different branches that we have. So we have different levels of analysis of a language. So what are we going to study about the language? Sounds, words, phrases, sentences, the use of these
Sentence.
phrases, the use of this sentence in different contexts. This is pragmatics. And then you have this course when you join all of them and you create a test. So as I told you before, this is the major branches of linguistics because we have more. Nowadays, linguistics is divided in a lot of fields. No? As I told you before, we have psycholinguistics, sociolinguistics, computational linguistics, and so on. Applied linguistics. Oof, we have a lot of branches, a lot of fields, but these are more related to the language itself. Now, let's pass to the topic that we are going to talk about today: phonetics. As we have seen before, yes, as we have seen before, phonetics was related to, can you remember, according to the diagram, phonetics was related to the study of,
Speech. Speech.
excellent, that's right, the study of speech sounds. This is the focus of the phonetics. We are going to study the speech sounds. So you can see here, phonetics, remember it comes from a Greek word that it comes to the word phone. Remember this term? Phone. What is a phone? A sound, a voice. Yeah, remember, phone is a sound, a voice. Oh, Nay, please. I think your microphone is on. Please turn it off, please turn it off. Oh, just give me a second. Yeah. Okay, please don't forget to turn it off your microphones. Now, as I told you before, phonetics is the study of speech sounds or phones. Remember, phones are the speech sound. So a phone is any sound that we produce when we speak. Remember, yeah? Don't forget about it, yeah? Because we are going to talk about many different definitions about sounds, many different terms about sounds. So try to remember, phone is any speech sound, any sound that we produce when we speak, when we talk. Is more related to the physical aspect of the sound. Don't forget about it. So, what are we going to study about the sounds? Do you have an idea? Yeah, teacher, phonetics is the study of speech sounds. Yes, you're right. You're totally right. But what are we going to study about the sound? What are we going to analyze about the sounds? Do you have an idea? Do you have something in mind?
The articulation.
Exactly. This is one of the aspects that we are going to study about the sound. The articulation. How we are going to produce the sound. Something else? Any other one? Any other one? The articulation. That's it. That's all. Just the articulation. The form.
Forms the sound, for example, agudos, graves.
Yeah, this is related to this also, but it's related to the articulation of sound, the production of sounds, no? This is related to this, but there is another aspect. There are two aspects that we are going to study. For example, I am talking to you, all right? You are listening to me, well, in this new way, no? This is the virtual way, but you are listening to me. I am producing sounds, right? How could you hear it? How? How is it possible? How could you listen to me? How? I'm speaking, for example, I live here in Chaclacayo in Lima, Peru. Lima, you live in Cusco. So notice the distance. But you can hear me, right? How is it possible? Do you have an idea? So when we study or analyze the sounds or speech sounds, we are going to study not just the articulation, we're going to study the transmission, how we transmit the sounds, how we transmit the sound in a normal way using the sound waves, no? Well, in this virtual way, we also use the sound waves, but it's more a digital way, no? So we use any other kind of media. But phonetics also studies the transmission of sounds. Notice the second aspect, articulation, transmission. Now, there is a third aspect that we are going to study in phonetics related to the sounds. I'm speaking to you in English. You can understand me, right? If I speak in Spanish or if I speak in English, you can understand me. But what happens if I if I start speaking in Russian? Could you understand me? I'm producing sounds. You are listening to some sounds, all right? But you cannot understand them. Yes or no? Am I right? If I
Yes.
start speaking in
Yes.
Russian, I start producing, I'm articulating some sounds. You can hear these sounds, all right? You can hear the sounds, but you cannot understand them.
Mhm.
This is another aspect that is studied in phonetics.
Mhm.
How you perceive the sounds, how you can decodify, no? Because
Mhm.
our brain receives the sounds through the ear, and you can decodify these sounds and understand the message. But if you don't, if your brain is not adapted to decodify these sounds, you cannot understand. So there are three aspects that we are going to study about the speech sounds: production, audition, and perception of sounds. Production is the articulation, how we produce, how we articulate the sounds. Audition is the transmission of sounds, how you can hear me. And the perception is how could you recognize these sounds and decodify it and understand what the other person is talking to you. All right? So notice these three aspects. Well, this course, this program is more emphasized in the first aspect, because the second and the third, we could use a special equipment, no, or a lab in order to analyze the transmission, or in order to decodify, in order to know how the brain decodifying these sounds. So it's a bigger aspect of phonetics. So in this course, we're going to analyze the production, the articulation of sound. But it's very important to remember and to know that phonetics is not just related to the articulation, no? Because sometimes we say, yeah, phonetics, yeah, we are going to study how to produce the sounds. Yes, you're right, but it involves more than the articulation, all right? Don't forget about it. So according to this, we have here these branches of phonetics. One of the branches of phonetics is the articulatory phonetics. What is the articulatory phonetics? Is the study of the production of speech sounds by the articulatory and vocal tract by the speaker. So we are going to analyze how we produce these speech sounds and which articulators and parts of our vocal tract we are going to use to produce them. So we call this articulatory phonetics. Remember, articulatory phonetics. The second branch of phonetics is the acoustic phonetics. What is the acoustic phonetics? The study of the physical transmission. Notice, physical transmission of speech sounds from the speaker to the listener. Notice, articulatory phonetics, production. Acoustic phonetics, transmission. And let's pass to the third branch of phonetics. Auditory phonetics is the study of the reception and perception of speech sounds by the listener. So the perception of sounds. So notice, in phonetics, we are going to make a bigger concept, no? Because we made a short concept of phonetics, no? Oh, phonetics, teacher, yeah, is the study of speech sounds. That's it. Now, this is a short definition. Now, I'm going to make it a little bigger. So what is phonetics? It's the study of the production, transmission, and perception of speech sounds. Notice we join, notice we have joined these three aspects of analysis of the sounds or phones. So phonetics, remember, phonetics in general term is the study of speech sounds. But now we are going to be more specific. What are we going to study about the sounds? So, okay, I'm going to make a little bigger this concept. And we say phonetics is the study of the production, transmission, and perception of speech sounds. This is phonetics. If we talk about the production, is articulatory phonetics. If we talk about the transmission, is acoustic phonetics. And if we talk about the perception, it's auditory phonetics. All right? Is it clear? Is it clear? Yes? Did you get it? What are the branches of phonetics and what is phonetics? Yes? All right. Okay. So don't forget about it. What phonetics is. Remember. Now I'm going to show you here a diagram, a picture related to speech. This is a model. Remember, if you are studying language, we have different models of communication, no? But I took just one of the basic models, no? When we have the speaker, we have a channel, and we have a listener, no? This is a basic model of communication, and we are going to use the speech to communicate, no? So this is a basic model because we have a lot of models, no? We can insert more the environment or the feeling, no? So you have here other aspects related to communication, but this is the basic one. We have a speaker, we have a channel, and we have a listener. So when we speak, we produce sound. So that's why we say this is the production level. All right. So here you have the production level. When we produce the sound, when you speak, all right, when you speak, you produce sounds. And we call this the production level. So it means that we are going to produce a speech. That's why here it says speech production. All right, it's related to the speech production. And so we are going to call this the articulatory phonetics. This is the articulatory phonetics. The production level, remember, the production level. Now let's pass to the other one, the second, related to the channel, the transmission, how we transmit the sound. That's why here says transmission level. All right. Oh, sorry. So this is the transmission level. Okay. So we are going to transmit the speech. That's why here says speech transmission. And what is the field? What is the branch? So the branch is acoustic, no? Acoustic phonetics. No, this is the acoustic phonetics. All right? Transmission is related to the acoustic phonetics. And let's pass to the third aspect. The third aspect is related to the, oh, what happened here? Yeah, it's related to the perception level. The perception level. How can you perceive the sound and decodify these sounds? So this is related again to the speech perception. And we could say that this is the auditory phonetics. Notice this is the auditory phonetics. So here you have the three branches of phonetics. Articulatory phonetics related to the production. Acoustic phonetics related to the transmission. Auditory phonetics related to the perception. How we can decodify these sounds. So notice the three branches of phonetics. So as a feedback, what is phonetics? Can you tell me? What is phonetics?
It's
The
a
study,
science. Oh, sorry. It's a
Oh, yeah.
science that studied production,
Uh-huh.
transmission, and perception of speech sound.
Excellent. That's it. Great. That's great. All right. So this is phonetics. Phonetics is the study of the production, transmission, and perception of speech sounds. Remember, speech sounds. What is the other name of speech sounds? How do we call the speech sounds?
Acoustic, phonetic, algo así.
Oh, no, no, no. This is the
No, no.
branch of phonetics.
No, no, the speech.
Listen to me. How do we call, what is the other name of speech
Another name.
sounds?
Maybe font.
phonetic,
Phone.
Excellent.
Phone.
Phones. Remember, phones. So phonetics study the phones. What are the phones? The
The
speech
sound.
sound.
The speech.
Any, remember, any speech sound. So that's why we could say that the phones, we produce a huge number of phones. Remember that. Huh? We produce a huge number of phones because we produce a lot of sounds physically. Remember, physically, because then we're going to talk about another term related to sounds that are the phonemes. The phonemes are sounds too, but then we are going to analyze the difference. So don't forget, phones are the speech sounds, any sound that we produce when we speak. All right, don't forget about it. Okay, so let's continue. Let's continue with the other part. Let's pass to the second aspect or the second field of linguistic that is related to sounds. What I'm talking about phonology, teacher, but we are talking about phonetics, not phonology. Phonology is the next module is going to be phonology. But I want you to talk about it because they have a relationship. Phonetics and phonology are branches of linguistics, but they have something similar, that they are going to study the sounds, but they are not equal. I am saying similar, not equal. But teacher, both study the sound. What is the difference? If they both study the sounds, so what is the difference? There is a difference. Let's see. What is phonology? Do you have an idea what is phonology?
It's related to phonemes.
Exactly. All right, that's good. Phonology is related to phonemes. Phonology is going to study the phonemes. This is one of the difference. Notice, phonetics study the
Speech sounds.
yeah. So how do
Or
we call
phones.
these sounds? The phone.
Phones.
Yes.
Phones.
Remember, phonetics studies the phones.
Mhm.
Phonology studies the phonemes. Oh,
Phonemes.
yeah. But what are the phonemes? Let's see. Here we have phonology studies the systems of phonemes. There is another difference between phonetics and phonology. Let me tell you. Phonetics, when we study phonetics and we study the articulation of sounds, we are going to study the sounds one by one. Yes? Ah, teacher, yeah, the sound pa. How do you produce the sound pa? Ah, yeah, using the lips bilabial. Yeah, then it is a stop or plosive sound. Okay, and then this is a voiceless sound, no vibration. Notice, this is phonetics. When you study the sounds in isolation, what does it mean isolation? In a separated way, not together. But notice here what it says about phonology. Phonology studies the system.
The system.
Notice the system of phonemes, not one by one. This is one of the difference between phonetics and phonology. Phonetics study the sounds in isolation, in a separated way, one by one. not together. Phonology studies the sounds as a group, as a system, how they work together. Notice the big difference between phonetics. That's what I'm telling you, that they are similar. Yes, phonetics and phonology are similar because both study the sounds, but they are going to study the sounds in different ways. As phonetics study the sounds in isolation, phonology study the sounds as a group, as a system. Another difference, phonetics study the phones, speech sounds, physical sounds. Phonology studies the phonemes. Notice this term, phonemes. What is a phoneme? Here you have. A phoneme is an abstract cognitive unit of a speech sound or sign which distinguish the words of a language. Notice what is a phoneme? Phoneme is a sound, but it's not the same as a phone. A phone is any sound that we produce when we speak. It means that we are going to talk about sounds, but in a physical way. This is the phone. Phoneme is abstract. Remember, abstract, what you have in your mind for that sound, the sign of the sound is not physical, all right? It's not physical, it's abstract. And there is something more. This sound distinguishes the words of a language. For example, this is very important because in English, it's very important to produce exactly the sounds, because when we don't produce the sounds exactly, you can change the message. You can change the meaning. For example, no? It's very common to confuse these two words. I'm going to write the words here, and you have to tell me how you pronounce these two words. Huh? The word, oh, sorry. Let me see, I'm going to make it bigger. Yeah, that's it. This word and this word. How do you pronounce it? Tell me the truth. Are they the same? Can you see the words? Yes? Can you see the words? Yes?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, I can see.
all right. Could you pronounce them? How do you pronounce these two words? Do you pronounce the same? Yes or no?
It's similar. They.
It's similar. Yeah.
They.
They. Okay. But be careful. They are not similar. They are different. Oh, how? How is it possible? Because of the articulation. For example, let me tell you that the first sound in the word they, the pronoun, no? Here you have first the pronoun, they. So it's pronounced using a dental sound. You're going to use a dental sound. Notice, look at my face, all right? Look at my face, okay? Can you watch my face? Yes? Here you can see my tongue, right? This is my tongue. So the first word is pronounced using the tip tongue, the tip of the tongue, this, between the teeth. They.
They.
They. Notice the. Then we are going to talk about more of this sound, yeah? But this is a dental sound. So why we call dental? Because the tongue goes to the teeth, upper and lower teeth, and you produce a vibration. They. But what about the second? The second word is produced, notice, is not dental. This sound is alveolar. Alveolar. Oh, teacher, what is alveolar? The alveolar ridge. What is the alveolar ridge? is the part behind the upper teeth, right? With your tongue, you can touch behind the upper teeth. You can touch and you can feel some lines. So this is the alveolar ridge. So that's why we call this sound alveolar. So the tongue, notice the tongue is not put at the front. It's behind the teeth. They. Notice again my face, my lips. They. Could you see my tongue?
They.
Right? You cannot see my tongue, right?
No.
They. Notice the difference. They. So if you pronounce, exactly, that's good. That's good. So if you pronounce in English, notice one sound is changing the meaning of the word, right? Just one sound. Is a pronoun, is referring to some people, right? In plural. But they, it's talking about a thing, an object, no? Part of the day, no? So part of the time, no? You're talking about time. So notice, just one sound, because the other two sounds, the other sound is the same. A is the same. So the first sound is different. They. So just one sound is different and you are changing the meaning, right? You change the meaning, okay? So this sound, which changes the meaning, is called a phoneme. This is a phoneme because this sound is changing the meaning of a word. That's why here it says, no? Which distinguish the words of a language. You are distinguishing, you are differentiating. No, this word with the has another meaning, and the other word with the, it has another meaning. So they are two words which are different just because of one sound. Another example. Let me give you another example, all right?
Excuse me, teacher. It's the same when you use two with one O and two with double O. When you use two with one O and you use two with double O.
Yeah, I got it. No, it's not the same. Because here the pronunciation is the same. In these two words, I'm going to write it. Yes, I got it. I know what you mean. So let me write it here. But it's related to sounds, but here is important the spelling. So let's see. The example that your partner gave us is this word, no? Two, and the other is two, right? Yes? These are the two words, right? Yeah. Let me tell you that these two words are pronounced the same. So two, they are pronounced the same. So how do we call these words which are pronounced? You write different. Notice the spelling is different, but the pronunciation is the same. How do we call these words?
The homophone words.
Exactly. These are homophones. Yes, that's it. So the pronunciation of these two words is the same. The difference is in the spelling, no? The difference is in the spelling. Also, you have a third word here, no? The number. Oh, sorry.
Two.
The three words are pronounced the same. The difference is in the spelling. So these words are called homophones. Remember, homo equal, phone sound equal sounds, right? So don't forget about it. Yeah, but the example that I'm giving to you is when you pronounce differently, you pronounce differently because of just one sound. Let me give you another example, and sometimes we make this. How do you pronounce these two second pair? How do you pronounce this second pair?
It.
Exactly. So they are not the same, right? The pronunciation is not the same. Eat, notice my lips, eat. I'm just a little bit exaggerating, but in order to differentiate it. Yeah? So notice my lips. Eat, it, eat it, eat it, eat it. So
Eat,
notice,
eat, eat.
I'm producing two different sounds, and these two different sounds give me two different meanings. All right? Yes?
Yes. Yes,
So,
teacher.
how do we call these sounds? How do we call these sounds which
Mm,
change meaning? Phoneme.
phonemes.
Aha, the phonemes. Notice here you are using two sounds, and these two sounds are giving you different meanings, different concepts. So it means that these two sounds are phonemes. They are abstract. Remember that. So a phoneme, remember, it's a sound, yes, but it's an abstract sound, what you have in mind. And this sound is very special because this sound is going to give meaning to words. I'm not saying that the sound has meaning. No, 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 no. It gives meaning. If I use the sound E, it has another meaning. But if I use the sound E, it has another meaning. Notice just one sound is giving you different meanings, two different meanings. That's why we call these sounds phonemes. Remember, these are phonemes, okay? So notice the difference between phonetics and phonology. Don't forget about it. Let's continue. So here we are going to analyze more. Phoneme, phone, and now we are going to add another term related to sounds. Allophone. Let's start with a phoneme. What is a phoneme? A basic unit of which words are composed. It functions contrastively. Notice, contrastively, we're going to make a contrast, and it's an abstract unit, a sound type in the mind. Remember, in your mind is not physical. You have the sound in your mind and you use it in order to make a contrast. And this is the basic units of words are composed. And what are the phones? What are the phones? Are all the different versions. Please don't forget about your microphones. Are all the different versions of a phoneme produced in actual speech. Remember that. So the different sounds that we produce when we speak, remember that the phones are the sounds that we produce when we speak. And what about the allophones? The allophones are a set of phones. Notice, a set is similar to say a group. Yeah? A set of phones, all which are versions of a single phoneme. I'm going to give you this concept in a simple way. Allophone is a physical variation of a phoneme. Remember, the phoneme is the abstract sound. All right? The phoneme is the abstract sound. But when we produce this phoneme, we produce phones. And we are going to produce the phones in different ways. And this group, which belong to the same phoneme, we call these sounds allophones. Let me give you one example in order to understand better. Here I have what, then we are going to go back. We are going to go to the example. Yeah, notice this example. Yeah, notice here. Here we have at the first part, we have the phoneme. This is a phoneme, the sound t, t, t. And notice the phoneme, yeah, remember, the phoneme is represented using slashes. We're going to use slashes. These are called slashes. All right? We are going to use slashes, no? These two diagonal lines, no? the diagonal lines. So these are called slashes. So notice here, for example, you could see these lines when you look up a word in a dictionary, right? I don't know, you could see. Then we're going to talk about how to use dictionaries in pronunciation. But if you look up a word in a dictionary, after the word, you have some symbols, right? And these symbols are between these slashes. So what it says, dictionaries work with phonemes. In the dictionaries, you can see the pronunciation of a word. And this is the object of this course. No? You can recognize all the different symbols which represent the sounds, and you can pronounce any word just looking up in a dictionary. That's it. You have the pronunciation in a dictionary. And if you can notice, the dictionary uses slashes. So it means that dictionaries work with phonemes, not with phones. The dictionary works with phonemes. So this is the phoneme. Remember, the phoneme is the sound that you have in your mind. That's why here it said abstract, mental. This is the mental category, the sound in your mind. But when you produce this sound, all right, when you produce this sound, you are going to produce this sound in many ways, physically. Remember, physically. Notice, now let's pass to the other two sounds. But these other two sounds are related to the first one, right? I'm not producing other sound. I'm producing the same sound, but with some physical variations. Let's see here. So here you have this. Oh, sorry, I'm going to make it thicker. Oh, yeah. Yeah, all right. No. Okay, notice here. The two sounds, if you notice, these two sounds below are related to the first sound, the phoneme, the ta. This is what you have in your mind. Ah, yeah, teacher, this is the sound ta. Yes, I know it, ta. Yeah, but when you produce this ta physically, you produce in two different ways. Sometimes we couldn't notice that, no? We couldn't notice this, teacher, there's a difference? I know, this is the sound ta, ta, ta. What's the difference? Let's see. These sounds, remember, these sounds are called phones. These are phones. How they are represented? With brackets. Now you're going to use brackets. Notice here, you're going to use brackets, not slashes. Notice the first is represented with the slashes. Now the second is represented with brackets. So when you see these brackets, ah, teacher, these are phones. Brackets, remember, brackets. When you see this transcription, these are phones. If you see slashes, ah, these are phonemes. Remember, phonemes, slashes, brackets, phones. Okay, teacher. Yeah, but what is the difference? What is the difference between this ta at the top and the two ta at the bottom? There is a physical difference. All right, there is a physical difference. Notice here the symbols. In the first, you have the ta, there's nothing around, right? But in the second ta, notice in the second ta, you have something special. Could you recognize the symbol? Oh, teacher, it's like the letter H, no? It's like a letter, but it's not a letter. Remember, this is not a letter. These are symbols which represent sounds. This ta that you could see here is not a letter. Remember that we're talking about sounds. These are not letters. These are sounds. But teacher, is the same as the letter? Yes. There are some symbols which represent sounds that are similar or equal to the letters. And there are symbols that are not equal to the letters. But these are sounds. Remember, we are not talking about letters. We are talking about sounds. But teacher, the H, what happened with the H? What is this? What's H represents here? The H represents a physical variation of the T sound. Let me give you one example. Yeah? I'm going to write two words, and you are going to analyze what is the physical variation of the sound ta. I'm not changing the sound. I'm not changing the phoneme. The phoneme is ta. But when I produce this ta, I'm going to make a little bit change in a physical way. Let's see. I'm going to write here two words. The word, for example, 10. I'm going to make it thicker. Just give me a second. Yeah. Oh, what happened? Yeah, let me see. I'm going to make it bigger. Yeah, all right. 10, all right? 10. And then I have the word spot. Okay? Yes? Yeah, these two words, remember, we are going to find a difference. These two words have the sound ta, right? One ta, in the first word, the ta sound appears at the beginning of the word. And in the second word, the sound ta appears at the end of the word, right? Yes? Do we agree on that? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So notice here, ta, ta. Okay? Ah, teacher, yes. This is the sound ta. Ta is a phoneme. Notice, this is the phoneme. We have this as a phoneme. But now, let's analyze it physically. Oh, just give me a second. My battery is getting, where is it? Yeah, so let's say so. Let's produce the first word, 10, all right? 10, 10. And I want you, please, do what I do. Where is my hand? Yeah. Put your hand in front of your mouth. Everybody, put your hand in front of your mouth. Yeah, everybody. Yeah, put your hand in front of your mouth. 10, 10, 10, 10. What do you feel?
10.
Do you feel something? Yeah, here.
10.
10, 10, 10, 10. Do you feel something? Yes or no?
Yes.
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 Huh? You feel a puff of air, right?
Vibration.
Oh, no, it's no vibration. Vibration is here on your throat. Here is the vibration, but this sound is not vibrated. Here in your hand, what do you feel in your hand? 10, 10, 10. You feel a puff of air, right? A puff of air, right?
Similar to small wine.
Yeah, exactly.
Similar
Now,
to small wine. I don't know how to say that sound. No.
yeah, a puff of air. We call this a puff. Yeah, como un flujo de aire, ¿no? Se sintió el aire. Puff, puff, puff. Tsk, tsk, tsk. So you release the air. 10. Okay? Now, let's pass to the second word.
Yeah.
Now we have the sound ta at the end of a word, right? But it's the same sound, no? Is it the same or is different? It's the same sound, right? 10, spot. Yeah, it's the same sound, ta, ta. Now, let's analyze it physically. Spot, 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 spot. Do you feel the same as the first word?
No.
No.
It's not similar.
Exactly. It's the same sound. Notice, it's the same sound because we don't change the sound. 10 has the sound ta, spot has the sound ta. But when we produce physically this sound, we make a little change. And that's why here you have the letter H. What does this H represent? We are going to call this aspiration. Remember this term. Aspiration. Aspiration is when you release, the air. You call this aspiration. Don't forget about it. Yeah? Aspiration. So it means that one ta is aspirated and the other ta is not aspirated. But it's the same sound, right? In your mind, you have, yeah, tin and a spot has the same sound. It's the sound ta. Well, but when you analyze these sounds physically, you are producing two different sounds physically. So it means that you are producing two phones. You are producing just one phoneme, but you are producing two phones. And when these two phones belongs to a same phoneme, we call them allophones. These are the ta with aspiration and the ta with no aspiration. These are phones. But these two sounds belongs to the phoneme ta. So they are called allophones. What are the allophones? Physical variations of a phoneme. The allophones, remember, the allophones are sounds which are the physical variations of a phoneme. Remember that. Yeah? And the allophones are phones too. Remember, the allophones are phones because we are using or we are producing sounds when we speak. No, when you speak, you produce these two sounds. 10 with aspiration, spot with no aspiration. But they belong, remember, they belong to the same phoneme, what you have in your mind, all right? What you have in your mind. So notice here, and this is a little bit of phonology. This is phonology. Oh, teacher, so the sound change according to the position that it appears. If you have that sound ta at the beginning or in the middle of sounds, you produce aspiration. But when you have the sound ta at the end of words, you don't produce aspiration. Notice here you have a phonological rule. This is a phonological rule. The position of the sound, notice the position of the environment of the sound makes the sound could be changed. You give a physical variation of this phoneme. Notice, remember this rule of this sound, ta is aspirated when it's at the beginning of words. Ta is not aspirated when it's at the end of words. So this is phonology. We are studying the sound as a system. We're analyzing the sound and what is the function of the sound inside this system. All right? So notice here, what is the relationship? Notice what is the relationship between phonetics and phonology. So don't forget about these three terms. So let's go back here in order to clarify. We're going to go back. Oh, what's happening? Yeah. Okay, remember, phoneme is a mental unit, meaningful and not realized because it's abstract. Yeah, remember, the phoneme is abstract, it's mental. Meaningful because you can give meaning with these sounds. You can differentiate meanings with these sounds, with phonemes. Phone, what is a phone? Physical. It depends on the environment. Notice we have seen this, no? If the ta appears at the beginning, you produce aspiration. If the ta appears at the end, you don't aspirate the sound. So it depends on the environment, the position that the sound appears, you can change the sound physically. Remember, physically. Meaningless. It doesn't give meaning to words. Notice the difference with a phoneme. Phoneme, meaningful, because it gives meaning to words. Phone, meaningless, because it doesn't give meaning to words. And realize, so it means that you produce these sounds. And the allophone is a phonetic unit. Is the variation, notice here, is the variation of a phoneme. So they are variation, physical variations. So notice here the difference between these three terms. Oh, please don't forget about your microphones. Turn off your microphones. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so don't forget about it. What is the difference between phoneme, phone, and allophone? Phoneme, mental, abstract, meaningful. Phone, physical, meaningless, realized. Allophone, physical variation of a phoneme. That's it. An allophone is a physical variation of a phoneme. Now, how do we make variations in sounds? Remember, we are going to talk about these two aspects in order to create variations in sounds. Oh, again, please, the microphones.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. Please don't forget to turn your microphones off, please. Oh, yeah, yes, I got it. Yes, sorry. Yeah, I gave them permission. Okay, so we were talking about how we can create this difference in sounds, no? Because we analyzed that we can produce some small difference in sounds. One of the aspects is the contrastive distribution. This is what I told you, no? Eat, it. They. Full. Oh, please, again, your microphones. What's happening with your microphones, please? Don't forget to turn off your microphones. Nay, Ruth. Nay, please turn off your microphone. Yeah, okay, thank you. So notice, two sounds are said to be contrastive if replacing one with the other results in a change of meaning. Cat, hat. Notice, what's happening here? Cat, hat. So you just change these two words, have three sounds, no? But just one sound is different, and this sound creates a difference in meaning too. So we call this a contrastive distribution. When we make a contrast, we replace one sound to another sound, and it produces a change in meaning. Cat, hat. So you replace the first sound, ka, and you replace it with the sound, ha, and you change the meaning. So how do we call this pair of words? Do you have an idea? How do you call these two pair of words? And we use it a lot when we teach our students, no? When we want them to differentiate sounds, we use these words, no? We use these words. Oh yeah, teacher, 3, 3. 3, 3. Full. Eat, it. We use a pair of words, right? We use a pair of words in order to differentiate sounds, right? So, how do we call these pair of words? Do you have an idea? How do we call them? And we use them a lot.
Paronyms?
No. This is more
Homophone.
related to the...
Homophone.
Excuse me, again?
Homophones. Homophones.
No, homophones, no, remember, homophones when the words are pronounced the same. Here they are not pronounced the same. We change one sound, so it means that these words are pronounced differently, but just one sound is different. The other sounds are the same. You change just one sound in order to differentiate, to make a contrast. That's why here said that we are going to talk about contrastive distribution, because we are replacing one sound to another and we change the meaning. Remember, we call this minimal pairs. Remember that name, minimal pairs, pares mínimos, minimal pairs. And we use, this is a technique. Now, this is a technique in order to make our students differentiate sounds. No? We look for two words which are similar, and you just change one sound. You change one sound. For example, no? Shop, chop. Shop, chop. So you just change one sound. The sound sh, it's replaced by the sound ch. Shop, chop. Notice here. So you're changing just one sound. Remember, you just change just one sound and you change the meaning. So you are contrasting. You are replacing one sound to another and you change the meaning. So we use this technique a lot when we want our students, as I told you, to differentiate sounds, no, in order not to get confused, because sometimes our students say, but teacher, it's the same. Oh, eat, 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 eat. And they could pronounce the same. Teacher, it's the same. No, we have to tell them that they are not the same. They are different sounds. So in order to make this difference, we use this technique. No, we use the minimal pairs. And you can write this on Google, and you have a lot of examples of minimal pairs. And you could use them in your class too. But here we're making a contrast, remember? Now, let's pass to the second aspect, how we create different sounds. The other is related to the complementary distribution. Complementary distribution, what does it mean? Phones appear in different environments, are allophones of the same phoneme. This is what we are talking just a few seconds. When the ta is at the beginning, what do? Can you remember? When the sound ta appears at the beginning, what do? How do you pronounce?
No aspiration.
No. At the beginning, 10.
Aspiration.
Yes, you produce aspiration. And when the sound ta is at the end, what do?
No aspiration.
No aspiration. This is called, in a technical way, no, in a phonological term, we call this complementary distribution. So when the phones appear in different environments, different positions, they are the same phoneme. Notice ta with aspiration and ta with no aspiration, they belong to the same phoneme, ta, in your mind. You are not changing the phoneme. What you are changing is the phone, the production of sounds. How you produce the sound is different, but not the phoneme, not the sound that is in your mind. You don't change that, because if you change that, you are making the first contrastive distribution. Ka, ha, cat, hot. Here you are changing phonemes. Notice in the first part, you are changing phonemes because you are changing meanings. All right? You are giving two different meanings. Cat, hat. Oh, they are completely different, right? One is an animal and the other is an object. Just changing one sound. So this sound is a phoneme. But in the second aspect, you are changing the sound, but you are not changing the phoneme. You are producing two different phones. And at the same time, you are producing allophones. Here you have again, top, stop. Top with aspiration. Don't forget the letter H at the top means aspiration. You are talking about phones. Notice you are using brackets. You are not using slashes. You are using brackets. So you are talking about phones. Top. You release the air. All right? You release the air. Top, top, top. But in the other, stop, stop. You don't say stop, stop. You don't say that, right? You don't say stop. You say stop, stop. And also the sound pa. The sound pa is different too. You don't say stop, stop. You don't say that, right? You say stop. Notice your lips. Your lips are closed. Stop, stop. You don't say stop, stop. You don't release the air. So this is another allophone of the phoneme pa. The phoneme pa is similar to the phoneme ta. When the sound pa appear at the beginnings, you produce aspiration, pen. pen, pen, pen. You release the air. You release the air. Aspiration, pen, pen. But when you produce a stop, notice my lips. They are closed. Stop, stop, stop. You don't say stop, stop. No, you don't say that, right? So you are changing the sound physically. All right? You are changing the sound physically. So it means that you're producing an allophone. All right? You're producing an allophone. I'm going to give you another example of allophones. This is according to the complementary distribution. Now, there is another way that we produce allophones. Can you tell me? Do you have an idea when we produce allophones? When do we produce allophones? I told you one aspect to produce allophones. That is that complementary distribution. So it means that you produce allophones depending on the position of the sound. If it is at the beginning or if it is at the end. Also, it depends on the sound which is around. For example, let me tell you something. You know that the vowels are oral sounds, right? Because the sound is produced in your mouth and you release the air through the mouth, right? Yes. For example, the vowel E, E, E. These are oral sounds. But when you produce the word pin, 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 this E is oral? Could you tell me? This E that I'm producing is oral? Pin, 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 pin. What do you say? This E, because I produce a vowel E, you have three sounds, no? I'm going to write a word. And I want you to pronounce it. Pin, pin, pin. Oh, teacher, yes, we have three sounds. The sound pa, the sound E, and the sound N. And we know that the vowel sounds are oral sounds. It means that we produce releasing the sound through the mouth. But here in this word, the sound E is oral or nasal? No, yes, it's not oral, it's nasal. So what am I doing? I'm producing a phone and I'm producing an allophone. Because the sound in my mind is E, I don't change the sound in my mind. I know that the word pin has three sounds, pa, e, in. But when I analyze physically how I'm producing the sound E, I could notice that I make a little change. And I'm changing from oral to nasal. Why? Because the next sound, the sound N, is nasal. So I change the sound E from oral to nasal, but I don't change the meaning of word. I don't change the phoneme. I'm changing the sound physically. So it means that I'm making a physical variation of a phoneme. I'm producing an allophone. Notice, an allophone. That's why here says, no, environment. It depends on the environment where the sound appears. If the sound is at the beginning, if the sound is at the end, if the sound is surrounded by another sound, you can change that. You are changing the sound. Notice, because of the environment. No, but there is another reason that we could use allophones. I'm going to give you one example. I'm going to write this word. I'm going to erase this. Just give me a second. I'm going to write the word after. After, right? Yes? Yes, is it okay? After. After. This is in American English, right? In American English, we say after, after, after. We use the vowel a, after, a from vowel. But what about the British accent? After. Notice the changing. After. Oh, oh, after. After, 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 after. Am I changing the meaning of the word? I'm changing the sound. Notice, I'm changing the sound. After,
But no,
after, after,
no.
after. But
Mhm.
I'm not changing the
The
meaning.
meanings, no.
The meaning is the same, right?
Yes.
So what am I producing? I'm producing
Allophone.
Allophone.
allophones. Yes, the allophones. But teacher, it doesn't depend on the environment. So why am I changing these sounds? Because of the accent, because of a region. For example, in our language, we have different countries, no, in South America.
The-
Some countries speak Spanish, no? Here in Peru, in Chile, in Argentina, in
Yes.
Bolivia, no? So we speak Spanish, but we have some
Yes.
sounds which are different, no? For example, a simple example, we say here in Peru, pollo, but if you go to Argentina,
Pollo.
pollo, no?
For sure.
Pollo. Do we change the meaning of the word?
No change.
No change in the meaning,
No
but we
change.
change the sounds, right?
Only the sound.
Yes. Pollo, we use ya, ya. But in Argentina, they use a pollo, pollo. So we change the sound, notice, but we don't change the meaning. So we are producing allophones. These are allophones because they don't change meaning. You change the sound physically, but you don't change the meaning. These are allophones. And at the same time, these are phones because they are different speech sounds. These are the sounds that we produce when we speak physically. So these are phones. They belong to the same phoneme. They don't change the meaning of the word, so they are allophones. So we call this, notice, when we talk about the accents of the region where you are, no, for example, English has a lot of accents, no? The British, the Jamaican, the Canadian, the South African, woof, we have a lot of accents of English. The most common are the American and the British, but we have more. And we have different way of pronouncing the sounds, but we don't change the meaning of words. So it means that we are creating allophones. There is another aspect in order to create allophones. Imagine that you have a terrible cold, a terrible flu. Your nose is blocked. Oh, teacher, I'm totally sick. I'm devastated. What happened with the sounds? The sounds are changed because my nose is not so good, it's blocked, so the air is not going through the nose, maybe through the mouth. Imagine that I have a terrible sore throat. Oh, teacher, I have a terrible sore throat. So you are producing the sounds in a different way, not as you always wanted to say. So you are producing allophones. We, as a non-native speakers, we are non-native speakers. We are not native speakers. No? We're learning English, we acquire the English, and at the same time, we are producing allophones too. Because sometimes we are not using the same sounds as they are, right? So we are producing allophones. So notice the different aspects that we could produce allophones. Because of the position, that is the complementary distribution, because of the accent, because of the region you are, because if you are sick or not, if you are native or non-native speaker. So we call all of this free variation. If it is according to the accent, according to if you are ill or not, sick or not, this is called free variation. And the other is complementary distribution. It depends on the position, the environment that the sound appears. Now, don't forget about it. Okay, so let's see. Any question until here? Is it clear? Tell me, please, if you have some doubts. No? All is clear? Yes? Tell me. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You are free to tell me if you couldn't understand some parts. Is it clear the difference between phone, phonemes, and allophones? Yes? Is it clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. All right. Okay. So let's continue. Now, we are going to pass to another aspect related to phonetics. No, as you know, English is a special language. No, it's not similar to our language, that we have a similitude between what we write and what we speak. No, this is in our language. We mostly write and we speak in the same way. But in English, there is a difference, no? As you know, there is a difference between the speaking part and the spelling part, no? What we write, spelling and pronunciation. For example, in English, and as you know, we have 26 letters in the alphabet, no? Remember, these are the letters of the alphabet. We use these letters to write, not to pronounce. So we have 5 vowel letters and 20 consonant letters. But notice, we have more than 40 sounds. We have 26 letters, but more than 40 sounds, 40 phonemes, because in phones we have more than 100 sounds in a language. In Spanish is the same. We have more phones than phonemes. Phonemes are just a set, as we have seen before, no? Phonemes, a set, no? A set, a group of sounds which are meaningful, which gives meaning to words. If we join these sounds, we create words, no? If we join the sound pa with the sound e, with the sound n, pen, we create a word. So we are using phonemes. Remember, we're using phonemes. We have 40 phonemes or 40 sounds, but we have more than 100 phones. Why? Because each phoneme has physical variations. We have seen the sound ta have physical, for example, another phoneme that we produce with the ta is the flap ta. For example, when you say little, little, the normal pronunciation of this word is little. But when you produce this sound or this word fast or quickly, you change it, right? You say little, 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 bottle, bottle, 20, 20. Notice you are changing the sound, right? You are producing an allophone. This is the flap ta. Remember, this is flapping. When you reduce the sound, okay? Ta becomes ra. Little, bottle, 20. Notice you are changing the sound. You don't change the meaning, no? You say little, little is the same. Butter, butter is the same. But you change the sound. It means physically. It means that you're producing two phones, and these two phones are allophones. So that's why we could say that we have 40 phonemes. So this is a set of sounds which gives meaning to words. Yeah? But we have more than 100 phones because each phoneme has physical variations when we produce them. All right. That is the reason there is no relation between the sound and the letter. Remember, in this course, we're talking about sounds. So here we have some examples. The word best. Notice here you have the word best. The word best has 4 letters, B-E-S-T. Remember, this is the letters, B-E-S-T. And it has 4 sounds. What are the sounds? Ba, e, s, t. Don't get confused. Ah, teacher, yeah, B-E-S-T. No, 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 no. These are not sounds. These are letters. B-E-S-T, letters. The sounds, ba, e, s, t. 4 sounds, 4 letters. So in some words, we have the same number of sounds and the same number of letters. Another example is the word dentist. Dentist. 7 letters, D-E-N-T-I-S-T. Dentist. The sounds, da, e, ta, I, s, t. 7 sounds. Notice 7 letters, 7 sounds. So we have the same number of letters and the same number of sounds. In some cases, all right, we have this. Let's pass to another case. In some words, the number of letters is the same as the number of sounds. We have seen that, but sometimes the number of sounds is different from the number of letters. For example, the word green. Green. You have 5 letters, but 4 sounds. No, what are the letters? G, R, E, E, or double E, N. 5 letters. What are the sounds? G, E, N. 4 sounds. G, E, N. 4 sounds. In bread, the letters EA is 1 sound. So we have bread, 5 letters, but 4 sounds. The letters B-R-E-A-D. These are the letters B-R-E-A-D. The sounds B, R, E, D. Notice, don't get confused. Sometimes we get confused and we say, ah, teacher, yeah, B-R-E-A-D. No, no, no. The sounds are not this. These are letters. The sounds are B, R, E, D. 5 letters, 4 sounds. In some words, there are silent letters, no? So letters which we don't pronounce. Letters with no sound. For example, the word listen. Listen. We don't say listen. We say listen. So the letter T is silent, is not pronounced. So that's why listen has 6 letters, but just 5 sounds. The letters are L-I-S-T-E-N. These are the letters. And the sound O, E, S, A, N. Listen, listen. And sometimes we reduce one more and we have just 4 sounds. For example, the vowel at the end, this is a rule, this is phonology. No? There is a vowel in English sound. Remember that we are talking about sounds. That is called the schwa. I don't know if you have heard about this vowel sound. That is the schwa. This vowel sound is very, very special because this sound is the vowel that we use the most in the English language. But at the same time, paradoxically, at the same time, this vowel is the vowel that we take out the most. Imagine that. It's the vowel that we use the most, but at the same time, it's the vowel that we take out the most, that we eliminate, that we don't pronounce. For example, in listen, we have O, E, S, A, N. But when you speak fast, quickly, you don't pronounce the last vowel. You just say sin, sin, the consonant S and the consonant N, sin, listen, listen, sin, sin. Another example, pencil, 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 so. No vowel. You take out the vowel, pencil, pencil, pencil. Notice, you are taking out vowels. So that's what I told you, that this vowel is very, very special. Then when we talk about the vowel schwa, I'm going to tell you about it more. Now, in some words, one letter is 2 sounds. Notice, one letter represents 2 sounds. The letter X in 6 is 2 sounds, like the sound K and the sound S. K, S, K, S. 6. So we have 3 letters. The letters S-I-X, 3 letters. But we have 4 sounds. The sound S, I, K, S. 4 sounds. Imagine, we have 3 letters, 4 sounds. All right, notice the different patterns that we have in the English language. No? Sometimes we have the same number of letters and the same number of sounds. Sometimes we have more letters than sounds, and sometimes we have more sounds than letters. We sometimes write This is what we are talking about just a few minutes. We sometimes write the same sound differently in different words. For example, the I in red sounds like the EA in bread. Sometimes two words have the same pronunciation but different spellings. We call this homophones. No, the word no, no. No is the verb and no is the adverbial, no, the negative adverbial. No, no. Do you know? No, I don't. So you write differently these two words, but you pronounce these two words the same, right? And sometimes two words have the same spelling, but different pronunciations. How do we call this word? The same spelling, but different pronunciation. Can you tell me? How do we call these words? The same spelling, so you write the words the same, but you pronounce these two words differently. Can you tell me? How do we call this? No? Nobody, nobody? I have one answer in the chat. Let me
Yeah,
see.
homograph.
Yes, very
Yeah,
good.
homograph.
Homographs. Homo, remember, homo equal graphs, graphemes. Graphemes is similar to say letters.
Right.
No? Graphemes is similar to say letters. So homo equal graph equal letters, equal graphemes. So you write the same, but you pronounce differently. So we call this words, homographs. I'm going to write it here. Oh, sorry. Oh, there's a mistake. Just give me a second. Yeah, so we are going to call this homographs. No, these are homographs. For example, here you have the word read and the infinitive form and the present simple or present tense. No, read, and you write the same, but you use it in past, but you change the pronunciation. Read, read, read. Notice the spelling is the same, but the pronunciation is different. And the second red is an homophone of the color, no? The color, red. The past simple of read, red. Red, red, homophones. But the infinitive on present simple and the past, they are homographs because you write the same, but you pronounce differently. Read, read. Do you want to read the newspaper? No, thanks. I read it this morning. Read it. Read, 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 read. You write equally, but you pronounce differently. Because there are more sounds than letters, we use symbols for pronunciation. That's the reason that we are going to use symbols. These are not letters, remember, symbols, which represent the sound. As I told you, some of these symbols are similar or equal to the letters, and some of them are different to the letters, all right? So don't get confused. When we talk about sounds, we generally use slashes or brackets. If you see slashes or brackets, we are talking about sounds. If you don't see slashes or brackets, we are talking about letters. Yeah? Don't forget about it. For example, here you have some words, not best, dentist, green, happy, coffee, listen, 3, 6, socks, bread, no, no, red, red, read. Oh, one person is coming. All right. So here you have this. We are going to use symbols. Remember, we're going to use symbols. That's why here we are going to use about what kind of symbols? Any symbol that we want? Any symbol that we want? What kind of symbols?
Phonemes?
Yeah, symbols which represent phonemes. But from which parts are taken the symbols? Can you tell me? I'm gonna give you here one example. Where is it? No. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, notice here something important. These are the symbols that we are going to use to represent or to talk about sounds. These symbols are taken from the IPA. Have you heard about IPA? Here, IPA. It's an acronym. Exactly. That's good, Fiorella. IPA, International Phonetic Alphabet. And this alphabet, remember, this alphabet is not to write. This is not A, B, C, D until Z. No. This alphabet, no. This alphabet is related to sounds. Here you can find the sounds not just from English language. You can find sounds from many different languages. And English has taken some of these symbols to represent their sounds, all right? So for example, here you have these vowel symbols, vowel sounds, and also the consonant symbols or consonant sounds. No? Then we're going to talk about each one, but as an example, I'm gonna give you this. For example, let's start with the vowel sounds. The symbol, the first symbol, I don't know, you can see it clearly. I'm going to make it bigger. I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'm going to pass to you. All of this material you have here on your handouts that you received. I'm going to change my screen. Just give me a second. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, okay. Can you watch it? Tell me, please, if you can watch it. Yes, can you watch it?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, so let's see. Here we have these symbols. Notice these are symbols. These are not letters. Remember, these are symbols which represent sounds. Let's start with the first one. We are going to make a general overview because next classes we are going to talk about each one. All right. So let's start with the first one. The first vowel is the symbol which represents the sound ah. Notice my lips. Look at my face. Look at my face. Ah. Ah. You have to open your mouth a lot. Ah. Ah. Hot. 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 Far. Far. Far.
Wow.
Something that I advise you to do here is try to exaggerate it. Yeah, try to exaggerate it. Maybe it's funny, yeah, but it's very important to exaggerate it because sometimes when we speak, we don't move the articulators correctly because we are speaking Spanish and we don't have these kind of sounds. So our organs, our vocal tract is not used to do that. All right. So we have to get our vocal tract used to do that. So remember, hot, far. The second vowel is another, but this is front. This is a, cat, 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 cat. The third is a deep tongue, is the vowel I, fine, fine, fine. The next vowel is the vowel ow, house, house. The next vowel is bed, bed. The next vowel is a, name, name. The next vowel is the vowel E. Notice my lips, like a smile. You have to smile. You must be happy. E. That's why American people or people who speak English, when they are going to take a picture, they say cheese. No, say cheese. Cheese. Because your lips are spread. It's like a smile, not E. So you have the word need. Need. Then you have the other vowel that is similar to E, but now it's short. Notice the shape of my lips. the shape of my lips is different. In the first E is long, no? Here, you spread E, now serious. For example, I tell to my student, one E is happy and the other E is serious. It's not happy, it's serious. So the first E is happy, E. The second E is serious, E, 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 E. So you have sit, 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 sit. The next vowel is the vowel O. O, O, go, go. The next vowel is O, O, O. It's a short vowel. O, O, book, book, book. The next vowel is long. Ooh, 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 boot, boot. Notice the first is short. Oh, the second is long. Ooh, and you have to put your lips as a tunnel. No, it seems to be a tunnel. Ooh, ooh, ooh. The next vowel is like an inverted C. No, like an inverted C is the vowel O. O, O, dog, dog. Four, four. The next vowel is a deep tongue. Oi, 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 toy, toy. Then we have an inverted V, no? We have an inverted V. This is a vowel similar to the Schwa. This is a vowel It's a central vowel. You have to open your mouth in midway, yeah? Cup, 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 cup. The next vowel is the vowel bird, bird, bird. Then we had the famous schwa. Here, the last vowel is the famous schwa. Remember, the name of this vowel is the schwa. This is the vowel that I was talking to you, that is so special. This vowel is the vowel that we are going to use the most in the English language, but at the same time, is the vowel that we are going to take out the most. It means that we are going to omit. We are not going to pronounce them. What is the reason? What is the reason that we are going to use the most? And what is the reason that we are going to take it out the most? There is one reason, that this is a weak vowel. It's not a strong vowel. It's a weak vowel. So a weak vowel in English is used at the end of a syllable when the syllable is not stressed. Remember, when we pronounce words, we have some syllables which are stressed and some syllables which are not stressed. So generally, notice generally, not always, generally, most of the time, in the syllable which is not stressed, we are going to use this vowel, the schwa. This is a weak vowel. Imagine that you are sick, you are not feeling good, so you don't have the mood, you are not in the mood of doing anything. So you say, your jaw, this is your jaw should be relaxed, your lips relax. For example, you have the words about, about. No, it's about. It's not open. About, no, it's closed. About. After. If you notice, you use this vowel in unstressed syllables, syllables which are not stressed. For example, in the word about, where is the stress? About, right? About. Doesn't have stress. About. In the word after, where is the stress? After. You don't say after. No. Say after. So notice, the schwa is used in syllables which are not stressed. Remember, this is a rule. In syllables which are not stressed. But teacher, you told us that we are going to take it out the most. Why? If we are going to use this vowel in syllables which are not stressed, so we are going to use this vowel a lot, right? Because we have words with some syllable stress and some syllables which are not stressed. So we are going to use this vowel a lot. Yes, but when we speak fast, quickly, we are going to omit this sound.
After me.
We are not going to pronounce it. All right? We are going to take it out. That's why we have this paradigm, no? That we use the most, and at the same time, we're going to take it out the most. Okay? So we have these vowels. Now let's pass to the consonants. Don't worry if you can get the correct pronunciation, because then in the next classes, we have 3 classes more related to phonetics. Yeah. So we are going to analyze each sound. Remember the phonetics, we're going to analyze the articulation of each sound. So don't worry, oh teacher, but it's too fast. I can't remember the sounds. Don't worry, because we are making here an overview. This is a general overview. Next classes, we are going to talk about each vowel in isolation, yeah? Or maybe in pairs to make a contrast. So let's pass to the consonants. The consonant sounds. Here you have the symbols. For example, if you can notice in the consonants and also in the vowels, there are some symbols that are similar to the letters, no? Sometimes we could get confused, but don't forget, when we have the slashes, don't forget about the slashes. When we have these slashes, it means that they are sounds, not letters, sounds. Let's start with the first one, the sound ba, 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 boy, boy. The sound da, 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 day, day. The sound j, 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 just, just. The sound f, 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 face, face. The sound g, 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 get, get. The sound notice this sound is very special too, because we are going to use here your throat, but we are going to use the glottis. This is a glottal sound. For example, when I teach this sound to my student, I told to my students, you remember this TV spot? Oh, the microphones, please. Don't forget about the microphones. Yeah, for example, I make a simile with the sound that we could watch. I don't know if you can remember these candy halls. Can you remember about the candy halls? Halls. El caramelo halls. ¿Se acuerdan el reclame, the TV spot de este caramelito? A ver, ¿alguien se
Yes,
acuerda?
yes,
¿Qué hacía en el
yes,
reclame, no?
yes.
This is the sound,
Yes.
remember? This is the sound of this symbol. Hat, hat, hat. Yeah, remember? Hat. Then we have to the sound k, 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 car, car. Then we have the sound o, 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 light, light. Then we have the sound my, my. Then you have the sound nine, nine. Then you have a special sound that is the sound this end with a little tail, no? Backwards. So you have the sound notice my face, my lips. Notice I'm going to open it and put the tongue backwards. So you say sing, sing. Then you have the sound p, 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 pen, pen. Then you have the sound right, right, right. For example, here another one. This is very important when you make your students, if you want your students to learn to acquire these sounds, try to make them have a connection with something, no? For example, similar to the candy halls, the sound. Then with this, for example, the sound I remember a film. I don't know if you have seen this film. This is called Spanglish. Have you seen this film before? Spanglish with Adam Sandler, and I can remember the name of the actress. Sophia, no, that's well, I can remember the name of the actress, but the actor is Adam Sandler. Have you heard this film, Spanglish? No, nobody. Spanglish. ¿Han visto esta película?
Not yet.
No yet. I advise you to do. Les aconsejo ver esta película. Muy interesante. Es una película cómica, muy entretenida, que habla sobre una chica mexicana que no le gustaba la cultura inglesa, pero por necesidad tuvo que ir a Estados Unidos a trabajar y tuvo que aprender el idioma. Y adquirió el idioma mientras ella trabajaba en la casa, porque trabajaba en una casa, y su jefe era un cocinero, que era Adam Sandler. Tenía su esposa, ¿no? There is one scene of this film that I advise you to watch it. It's very, very funny and also interesting how this person acquired the language, all right? This is very, very important. So there is one scene when this Mexican girl go to the interview with the boss wife, no? And she says, what's your name? No, the wife says, what's your name? Oh, my name is Flor. And the American wife says, oh, you are Flor. No, my name is Flor. Oh, Flor, no Flor. Notice the difference of the R in Spanish and the R in English. Flor, we say flor, flor, but in English it's retroflex. So what do you have to do? You have to put your tongue backwards, the tip of your tongue backwards, and you have to press. Here you have to press the side of your teeth, and you have to protrude your lips. Right. For example, no, when you don't say right, no, right. Run, you don't say run, no, run, right. Brazil, you don't say Brazil, no, Brazil. Notice the remember that you have to press here to the sides of your teeth, protrude your lip, and curl your tongue. Floor. Notice floor, no floor, no floor. Notice how it's different, the in English and the in our language. Don't forget about it. So right. Right. Now, the other consonant is C. The other one is T. The other one is very special because it's the combination of two sounds, the sound ta and the sound sh, cheap. For example, we have this sound in our language, no? When you say chompa, chaleco, chosica, chosa, so we use the sound cha. But in English, we have the other sound that is vibrated, j. Then we are going to see below. Then we have the sound v. Vote. It's very important to pronounce this sound because sometimes we confuse this sound with a bilabial, no? Ba. For example, in the alphabet, you say A, B, C, and then V, B, V. Notice the difference. One is with the lips and the other is with the teeth and the lip. B, V. Vote. Remember the teeth. Upper teeth to the lower lip. V. Vote. Remember that. Then we have the sound wo. West. Then we have the sound ya. Yes. Then we have the sound z, like a mosquito, no? Like a mosquito. Or maybe when your cell phone vibrates, no? Zoo. Brazil. Z. You have to vibrate the sound, no? Brazil, zoo, zoo, zipper, zipper. Then we have the dental sounds. This symbol is one of the dental sounds. No? For example, I gave you this example no, of this word. They. Notice the tip of my tongue between the teeth. And you have to vibrate here your vocal cords. They, they, they. And the other one is similar with no vibration. The same, the tip of your tongue between the teeth. Think, think, think. The sound is think, think. Then the other sound, this is a longer S, no? A long S is shh. The sound when you do when you want people to make noise, no? So shh, please, dear students, silence, silence, please. Shh, 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 shoo, shoo, shoo. And finally, this same shh, now you have to vibrate it. Shh, 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 shh. Vision, 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 television, Asia, measure. Notice, zh, zh, zh. All right, don't worry about these sounds. As I told you before, we are going to practice all of these sounds when we start analyzing the articulation. Now, this is just a general overview, and in order to take into account that we have noticed, we have more symbols, more sounds than letters. We have 5 vowel letters, but we have more than 10 vowel sounds. We have 22 or 21 consonant letters, but we have more than 26 or 28 consonant sounds. Notice here the difference between the spelling and the writing is completely different. Don't forget about it. When we have A, B, C, D until Z, this is the alphabet for the spelling. Now here you have another alphabet, and this alphabet is for pronunciation. All right, it's for pronunciation. Now, in order to finish with the class, I'm going to change my screen. We are going to finish with this topic. I'm going to show you, and I know that sometimes when we were students of English, no, maybe we use the dictionary just as a translator, no? Sometimes, and also as a teacher, sometimes, oh yeah, I want to know the meaning of the word, the translation of the word fast, quickly. So you just use the dictionary as a translation, as a translator, sorry. But a dictionary has a lot of uses, all right? A dictionary has a lot of uses. I'm going to change my screen. Just give me a second. Oh, what happened? Oh, I think that time is getting over. Well, yeah. Oh, well. Okay, we are going to stop here. Next class, I'm going to show you how to use a dictionary in order to have a lot of information. We have the stress, we have the meaning, we have the number of syllables, we have synonyms, so we have a lot of uses. But we are going to focus more on the pronunciation part in order to analyze the sound. Well, it was a pleasure to meet you.